Inwagata no Sahai Estima amiable name, and I'm so delighted to come away again this Wednesday to add premium value to your day, add color to your career, add premium value to your business, to that NGO vision you are driving, another vision you are also driving out there as an individual, as an organization, and even those of us in government sphere, those of us in government agency and MDAs. And you know, the series has been driving workplace productivity with emotional intelligence. And I will remind you, emotional intelligence is the smartness of being able to manage your emotions and also manage the emotion of other people. Situate that in the workplace, in the work environment. Emotional intelligence for you as a boss, when you situate and zero that in the workplace, is your ability to ensure workplace emotional stability with the knowledge of how to manage your emotions and also the knowledge of how to manage the emotions of your team members. And we have been looking at the different pillars of emotional intelligence, starting from self-awareness to self-regulation to motivation, and today we are starting empathy, which is a very key pillar or component of emotional intelligence. Now, in the school of emotional intelligence, empathy is your ability to sense the needs and the concerns of other people. Empathy is the ability to understand the feelings of other people. Empathy is your ability to understand the perspectives of other people. You know, having an appreciation of how other people see things and then understand how that influences decisions and outcome. Now, when you situate that also in the work environment and in the workplace, leaders with empathy in a work environment, you know, they are able to acknowledge the perspectives of different departments, and at the end of the day, are able to arrive on a common ground, having understood the perspectives of different departments in the workplace as a leader. This is very, very important. Now, empathy is not tolerating indiscipline. No, empathy is treating other people with understanding, and maintaining professionalism and success at the end of the day for your organization. Ensuring accountability. This is very, very important. And you know, we have been doing this in a Harvard Business School pattern, you know, using the Harvard Business School model of using case scenario to understand these various components of emotional intelligence. We did that for self-awareness, did it for self-regulation, did it for motivation, and we're also going to do the same today for empathy. Remember, empathy is your ability to sense the concerns and the needs of others. Empathy is the ability to understand and acknowledge the perspectives of others. This is very important for you as a leader. And the case scenario that we are looking at today is empathy in leadership during the challenging period of a microfinance bank. Empathy in leadership during the challenging period of a microfinance bank. And so I just go straight into the case scenario. During a difficult period for a thriving microfinance bank in Nigeria, the institution began to experience serious operational pressure. Economic conditions had affected many of the small traders and entrepreneurs who formed the bank's core customer base. As a result, loan repayments slowed down, customer complaints increased, and employees, especially loan officers and customer staff, came under intense pressure. Inside the bank, the atmosphere gradually became tense. Staff members worried about meeting their target, and some even began to fear for the stability of the institution. Morale started to decline, and productivity began to suffer. The managing director of the bank noticed these developments. In many organizations, a leader might respond to such a situation by increasing pressure on staff or issuing strict directives. However, this managing director chose a different path, one guided by empathy. Rather than focusing on financial reports and performance figures, the managing director decided to understand what employees were experiencing. A series of staff engagement and meetings were organized across different departments of the bank. During these sessions, employees were encouraged to speak openly about the challenges they were facing in their daily work. The managing director listened attentively as loan officer described the difficulty of recovering loans from struggling customers, and as customer service staff explained the emotional strain of handling frustrated clients. Instead of dismissing these concerns, the managing director acknowledged them and openly appreciated the efforts employees were making under such demanding conditions. After listening carefully, the managing director introduced practical steps to support the staff while safeguarding the bank's operations. Loan recovery strategies were adjusted to allow more flexible engagement with customers facing genuine difficulties. Additional training was organized to equip staff with better skills for managing difficult conversations with clients. Communication channels within the bank were also strengthened to employees, so employees could easily seek guidance when they encounter complex situations. Gradually, the atmosphere within the bank began to change. Employees felt understood and supported. Confidence started to return, teamwork improved, and staff became more motivated to perform their duties. Within a short period, service delivery improved, customer relationships became stronger, and the bank began to regain operational stability. This situation clearly demonstrates how empathy, as a component of emotional intelligence, can make a significant difference in leadership. Now, this is what we are going to do. I just read the case scenario of this particular microfinance bank for you, and how the managing director demonstrated empathy, which is the ability to sense the concern and the needs of others, especially in leadership. So we are going to look deeper the practical way that the managing director of this particular microfinance bank in Nigeria exhibited this empathy. Number one, the managing director noticed the emotional state of the staff. The managing director noticed the emotional state of the staff. That is empathy, the ability to understand the feelings of other people. The leader noticed the emotional pressure staff were going through, the stress, the fear, and the declining morale. That is the first display of empathy, recognizing how people are feeling. Then the second way the managing director of this microfinance bank exhibited empathy. The next strong display of empathy by the managing director was creating opportunities for employees to express themselves and speak freely about their challenges. This is very, very important as a leader. Empathy is about giving people a voice. You should be able to allow people to air their challenges, because a critical definition of empathy is being able to understand the challenges that people are going through, that your people, your team members are going through. And then you need to also give them that platform to be able to express that challenge they are going through. Then the third way that the managing director of this microfinance bank exhibited empathy is that the managing director listened attentively and validated their feelings. Very, very important. This is deeply profound. Listening alone is not enough. Many leaders listen, but they dismiss what people say. But in this case, the managing director listened attentively and acknowledged the staff experiences. This is empathy, the ability to acknowledge people's perspective, acknowledge what they are going through, and then to be able to take things to the next level. This simple act sent a powerful message to the staff. Management understands what we are going through. Empathy is being concerned with what people are going through. So as a leader, don't just be interested in performance figures alone. Try to understand what people are going through, understand what your people are passing through, understand their challenges, and with that, you will be able to remedy the situation or the crisis your organization or system be facing. Remember what I just said. Don't only be interested in performance figures alone. Understand your people, because you need your people to be able to take your business from this challenge, to the next level of solution. Then, 4, the managing director took supportive actions. Empathy is not just about feeling for people. Remember, it must lead to supportive action. After listening to the staff, the managing director introduced practical measures. Loan recovery strategies were adjusted to be more flexible for struggling customers. Practical measure. Staff received additional training to manage difficult customer conversations. Practical measure. Communication channels were strengthened so employees could easily seek help. Practical measure. This shows empathetic leadership in action, turning understanding into support. So As a leader, what leadership lesson can you glean from this? So we are just going to, conclusively look at 3 leadership lessons from this case scenario as exhibited by the managing director of this particular microfinance bank in Nigeria. Number 1, understanding people strengthens organizational resilience. Leaders who take time to understand the challenges faced by their employees are better positioned to guide their organization through difficult times. This is just what I said just now. If you are patient enough, if you are empathetic enough to understand what your people are going through while working for you, you will be able to, resolve the issue. You'll be able to manage the situation and then take your organization, your business, your vision from that challenge, through empathy, through understanding what your people are going through, and then coming up with practical measures. This is very key. Then the second leadership lesson from this case scenario is that listening builds trust and commitment. When leaders listen sincerely and acknowledge the concerns of their teams, employees feel valued and become more committed to the success of the organization. Very important. Then the third leadership lesson we can glean from this case scenario of this empathy exhibited by the managing director of a microfinance bank is that empathy enhances effective decision making. Empathy enables leaders to balance organizational goals with the well-being of employees, leading to decisions that strengthen both performance and workplace morale. So empathy enables leaders to balance organizational goals with the well-being of employees. And this is one, aspect you need to take very serious as a leader. Remember, we are looking at driving workplace productivity with emotional intelligence, and we are on the 4th component or pillar of emotional intelligence, which is empathy. We are still going to take empathy deeper when I return next week, Wednesday. I know you want to reach me. My email is inuagata@gmail.com. Send your questions, send your inquiries, and when I return next week, I will still remain the amiable Inuagata no Sahai. Your day is so blessed. Thank you.